Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to Las Cruces, New Mexico, now across town at Mayfield High. I'm TJ Miracle as we get ready for Hobbs Lady Eagle basketball this afternoon here on Eagle 100.5, the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel, and HobbsAmerica.com. The Lady Eagles come in at 12-1 on the season after a good victory last night over Las Cruces High, 75-78. So a pretty tough match, though, as Las Cruces High did not go away in that ball game. Matter of fact, in the second half, they made it much closer. It was really the first half yesterday that got the Hobbs Lady Eagles that victory. But as we've heard Coach Joey Carpenter say, hey, a win is a win. Yeah, their goal, they have one more point than the other team, and they certainly had more than that. Of course, winning by 27 points. Last night in that ball game over at Las Cruces High, 4 Lady Eagles getting into double figures, led by Bryn Hargrove as she chipped in 16 points in that big win. You had 11 points for Caitlin Muniz coming off the bench. 11 points for Nakaya Mojica, and then 10 points for Brett Clay and for Jayla David. Did I say 4? I meant 5 Lady Eagles in double digits last night. So a good game all told, and, well, looking to continue that against a very tough Las Cruces Mayfield Lady Trojans team. The Lady Trojans under head coach George Maya come in at 9-2 on the season, and they are right now ranked 6th in the Max Preps rankings and matrix. So this is a top 6 battle between the number 1 or number 2, depending on which poll you look at, Hobbs Lady Eagles, and the number 6 Mayfield Lady Trojans. So the 2 losses for Mayfield coming against a very stout Clovis team, 45-29 back before the holiday break, and then El Paso Burgess losing a tough one there, 48-41. But Mayfield has knocked off some pretty impressive squads. Cleveland, Valencia, Deming, Centennial, La Cueva, Highland, and Los Lunas all amongst their wins. Now, this is a team that can definitely get some things done. They might not have the firepower of the Hobbs Lady Eagles, only averaging about 47 points a game, but they do have 3 scorers in double digits, led by Jaslyn Ruiz with 14.5 points per game. Sienna McKine's averaging right under 11 points a game and right at 10 points a game for Lorena Villarreal. So 3 girls for the Mayfield Trojans to definitely keep an eye on. Victoria Kirker also chips in about 7 points a game. Their leading rebounder is McKine. She has right at 8 rebounds a game. Then it falls off to Ruiz with about 5. The Hobbs JV did lose their match right before this to Mayfield's JV. 40-35 was the final score in that one. A very, very I think disappointing loss for the Hobbs Lady Eagle JV. Just didn't get a whole lot going in that game. But the Hobbs girls, the varsity squad, will do everything they can to stay on their run. Right now on a 12-game win streak, and they would like nothing more than to see that continue. We will take a 2-minute timeout, come back and continue your Lady Eagle pregame show here on Eagle 100.5, 1110 AM, HobbsAmerica.com, the Eagle 100.5 app, and the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. here at the gym. Yeah, I got unplugged. But yeah, we're back. We're good as we continue our Lady Eagle pregame show. I'm TJ Miracle. Lady Eagles, pardon me, as I mentioned, come in on a 12-game winning streak, 12-1 overall on the season. And running down the roster for head coach Joey Carpenter's Lady Eagles, you got number 4, Madison Zapata, number 10, Kylie Cano, number 12, Eliana Armitage, number 14, Brett Clay, number 15, Nakaya Mojica, number 20, Bryn Hargrove, number 22, Kendall Cunningham, number 23, Jayla David, number 24, Carolina Size, number 33, Caitlin Muniz, and number 55, Katie Godwin. Also on the roster, Alana Bolton, but I do not believe she is on the road trip. For Mayfield's Lady Trojans under head coach George Maya, they've got number 1, Victoria Kirker, number 2, Aaliyah Salas, number 3, Sienna McKines, number 4, Giselle Casillas, number 5, Jolette Paz, number 10, Kylie Lopez, number 12, Lorena Villarreal, number 13, Jaslyn Ruiz, number 14, Anna Arguello, number 20, Alex Triste, number 21, Ashlyn Maya, number 40, Isabella Padilla, and number 43, Selena Castro. For your Hobbs Lady Eagles, I'm betting your starters tonight are going to be number 14, Clay, number 15, Mojica, number 20, Hargrove, number 22, Cunningham, and number 23, David. I would be willing to bet that is who the starters will be. For the Mayfield Lady Trojans, not sure yet, but I can almost put money on number 13, Jaslyn Ruiz, number 12, Lorena Villarreal, number 3, Sienna McKines, probably number 1, Victoria Kirker. Pardon me, and we'll have to wait and see who that 5th starter will be for the Mayfield Lady Trojans. As the pregame clock continues to click down, we are just about ready for the national anthem and the introduction of the teams. So we will go ahead and take another timeout, come back with the starting lineups for sure and the tip-off. This is Hobbs Lady Eagle basketball on KEJL Humble City Hobbs, K263AZ Hobbs, the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel, and HobbsAmerica.com. And welcome back to Hobbs Lady Eagle basketball here from Las Cruces, Mayfield. I'm TJ Miracle getting ready for the tip-off of this one. Starters tonight for the Lady Eagles will be Clay, Mojica, Hargrove, Cunningham, and David, just as we suspected. For Mayfield, it will be number 1, Victoria Kirker, number 3, Sienna McKines, number 12, Lorena Villarreal, number 13, Jaslyn Ruiz, and number 44, Selena Castro. The Hobbs Lady Eagles are in the road blacks with the gold letters and numbers. Hobbs in block lettering on the jerseys. For Mayfield, they are in the home whites with the green letters and numbers, and Mayfield in green on the front of the jerseys. So getting ready for this one, as it appears that it will be McKines making the jump against Jayla David at the big Trojan at center court. So ready to go. The Lady Eagles under head coach Joey Carpenter, 12-1. The Mayfield Lady Trojans under George Maya at 9-2, a top 10 New Mexico 5A girls battle. So it'll be McKines and David taking the jump, and here we go, and it will be Mayfield who controls the opening tip as Ruiz dribbles through kind of a little bit wild as she gets into the front court, cycles it from the left to the right, goes to McKines at the free throw line as they will work it around, going to the base, getting it over to Castro. Clay nearly ties her up. She'll save it out to Ruiz. A little bit of a bump against Hargrove, and they'll push it back out and reset with Kirker in front of the Hobbs Lady Eagle bench. Mojica on her tight, get it into the right wing with McKines. McKines to the free throw line, picks up the dribble, bounce pass dangerous, but handled by Kirker. She'll take it from the corner, and then they will restart the cycle. To Ruiz, who's going to back it up. Hargrove giving her some room. Tossing over, coming to the near side with Kirker. Kirker will take it, picks up the dribble, tries to go inside. McKines somehow handles it and gets into the low post, and Mayfield will strike first. They lead early 2-0. So Hobbs back down under a little bit of pressure, getting it to Hargrove in the front court, loses it off of her foot, and the Lady Eagles have turned it over. On the break, coming down the other way, it is Ruiz with the left-hand scoop shot, no good, and the rebound made by Clay on the left side, but another Hobbs turnover. Uncharacteristically sloppy early for the Lady Eagles as they move it out to Villarreal, to Ruiz, to Kirker. Front of the Hobbs bench, Mojica on her tight. Very early in this one, a 2-0 Mayfield lead. To Villarreal, that one tipped, but into the hands of McKines in the left elbow. She takes it, almost loses the dribble, goes over Cunningham, shot up, no good, and it'll be Clay with the rebound. Brad will keep it herself as she goes into the front court, tossing it over to Hargrove, who puts up the little 10-foot floater from the right side, and Bryn has Hobbs on the board. We are tied at 2 apiece. Full court pressure is on as they'll get it into Villarreal, who gets it to Kirker, runs the point and gets it into the front court, bounces, trying to find one of her running mates and can't, and it'll be stolen away by Clay. And Clay to Hargrove, blocked on the three-point shot, and will go out of bounds. It'll stay Hobbs basketball. Getting over there and swatting that one away quickly was Villarreal. Normally you get Hargrove any look, and she will get it. So it'll be Mojica to inbound it from the right baseline, tosses in, and it'll be intercepted. Third turnover early for Hobbs as McKine gets it. Kirker will underhand it to Rodriguez. Pardon me, that's Ruiz. Ruiz back to Kirker with Hargrove on her. Kirker takes it into the right corner, uses up the dribble. Hobbs trying to tie her up. She'll get saved by Castro. Drives in right base. Going to be blocked out by Cunningham. And it'll be Hobbs Lady Eagle basketball. Kendall keeps it herself. Feeds it forward to Clay. Clay goes hippity-hop through the lane. Missing the shot, but it'll be Cunningham with the rebound and the putback. That's no good. And then Castro with the rebound. Too many times last night, Hobbs had the open look at little bunny jumpers and couldn't get them to go. All tied at 2. 3 minutes gone here in the first. As Kirker thinks about taking it in, but is run out by the interior of the Hobbs defense. To Villarreal in the left corner, back to McKines. Working towards the top of the arc. Bounce pass, Mojica steals it away. On the fast break, Hargrove will pick it up off the steal and up and in. Hargrove with 4 points, and now both teams with 3 turnovers. 4-2, Hobbs in the lead here early, and that one almost swatted away. Kirker will get it back. Kirker to Ruiz as Ruiz to the free throw line. Pop a shot from there. That one is off the mark. Will slide through and get her own rebound and then toss it back out, and they will reset with Kirker. Hargrove picks her up looking for an opening. Bounce it to Castro on the left base. Castro to McKines, and she'll go around Cunningham and put it in. Sienna McKines has all 4 points for Mayfield, and we are tied at 4. To Clay in the front court, just in front of the free throw line, and Brett will dump one in. So now 6-4, Hobbs in the lead, right at the halfway mark of the first period. Into Castro, Hobbs tries to trap her up somehow. She splits the defense. To Kirker, who will take it, bounce it to McKines. Deep in the left base and almost losing the ball. Kendall almost gets it away from her, puts up a wild shot, and it'll be Clay who comes down with her third rebound of the ball game. Clay trying to get it to Hargrove on the baseline, but swatted away by Castro, and it'll be Hobbs basketball. As the Lady Eagles going to send in 4 replacements. They're going to leave Clay on the floor as Size, Zapata, Muniz, and Armitage check in for the Hobbs Lady Eagles. So Zapata will bounce it into Size, but it is stolen away by Ruiz. 4th turnover for Hobbs. Villarreal to Kirker. Still in the backcourt. Armitage on her tight. Goes behind the back to get it across the timeline. They'll throw it to McKines at the free throw line. Underneath to Castro, who came through the back door, and Selena Castro ties the game at 6 apiece. Size on the inbound to Clay, who will bring it into the front court. Hobbs will set up the offense. To Armitage, little spin move, but spins right into Kirkers. They'll get it in to Clay, who throws it back out. They work it around the arch to Armitage. High inlet to Clay, and over the back on Castro. Be her first personal. First team foul on Mayfield. Tied at 6 with 3 minutes to go in the first. And it'll be Hobbs basketball on the left base. Zapata to inbound. Kirker giving her a little bit of room. Has to get it in. The high inlet will come to Clay. Clay will take it around to the right lane and count the bucket and the foul. Clay, a nifty little move, will give Hobbs the 8-6 lead. And the foul going to be called on Castro. That'll be her second quick personal. And it'll be the second team foul on Mayfield. So Clay at the line for the and one, and it'll fall off the side, and the rebound by McKines. Hobbs still leads, though, 8-6, 3 minutes to go, and a little bounce pass to Villarreal, and she'll get the bucket and the foul. So Mayfield right now playing a lot like the Hobbs Lady Eagles, and they will call the smack on Madison Zapata, her first personal, first team foul on Hobbs, and Villarreal at the line for the and one. So McKines will check out. Salas will check in for, that's Castro checking out, and Salas checking in for Mayfield. Villarreal at the line for the and one, and it is good. So that will give Mayfield the 9-8 lead. Armitage gets around Salas, feed it inside to Clay in the right lane, and up and in for Brett. 6 points for Clay, and Hobbs now back up 10-9. Inbound to Kirker. Zapata on her. Pushes it over to Salas, who tries to throw it across the paint. Somehow Ruiz will wind up with it, and it goes out of bounds. Last touch by Ruiz. It'll be Hobbs basketball. 4th turnover for Mayfield. Hobbs forcing 29 turnovers last night. Had trouble capitalizing on them. Let's see if they can do better today. 2.5 to go here in the first. To Size. Pop a three-pointer, and bang! Carolina Size from the right arc. And Hobbs is on a 5-0 run and leads 13-9. And a bad pass, and that one will be intercepted into the hands of Zapata. Zapata works it into the front court and tosses over. Size bounce into Clay in the right block. She'll go into the paint. Little jumper no good. Ball loose on the court, and Villarreal will have her first rebound of the ball game. Kirker takes her time, goes behind the back, and will get it into the offensive zone for Mayfield. Push it over to Ruiz, who will come near side to Villarreal. 1:52 to go to the right base to McKines. 10-foot floater, and that one no good, and the rebound going to be brought down by Ruiz, and a whistle sounds, and it will be the push on Ruiz. Her first personal. Third team foul on Mayfield, and it'll be Hobbs basketball. Kendall Cunningham will check in. Brett Clay will head to the bench with 1:47 remaining in the first. Hobbs up by 4, 13-9. On the inbound, that one almost stolen away. Size will get it back, bounces over to Armitage. Armitage takes it into the left lane, shot up, and it'll be McKines with her second board of the ball game. Out-battled Cunningham for that one. To Kirker, bounce it to Salas, and blocked from behind with authority. As trailing the play and hustling to get back was Cunningham, who knocks it away. Subs coming in for Hobbs, as the starters will all five be back on the floor. As David, Mojica, Clay, and Hargrove coming back in with Cunningham. So it'll be Mayfield basketball. And the high inlet goes back to Ruiz near midcourt. Mojica comes out on her. They'll throw it to Salas on the left side. Now come back right at center court with Villarreal to Ruiz in the right block. Almost blocked, gets her own rebound, and she'll put it back up and in. Ruiz 3 rebounds, and that's her first bucket of the ball game. Hobbs up 13-11 to Hargrove in the left corner for 3. That one is off the mark. Nobody to rebound except for Kirker. And back into the hands of Mayfield. 1 minute remaining, and Hobbs will steal it away. And it'll be Hargrove to Mojica to Clay, and Clay going to be fouled, and she'll head to the line for 2. Might have had one too many passes in there, but it's going to work out. They're going to call that on Kirker, her first personal. And that will be the 4th team foul on Mayfield. So it'll put Brett Clay at the line to shoot 2. Clay's first is up, and it is good. Clay with 7 points leads the Lady Eagles, who now lead 14-11, back up by 3. Clay will eye her second, and it is up, and that one will rattle home. 8 points in the first quarter for Brett Clay. And the full court press is on. 15-11, Hobbs in the lead. Ruiz with Mojica on her, a little head fake, gets her enough space to get it across the timeline at about the 7 count. To Kirker, Mojica picks her up, bounce to Salas, trying to go into the middle. That one going to be poked away and into the hands of the Hobbs Lady Eagles, trying to get Hargrove breaking down. They'll get it to Bryn, misses the shot, but trailing, and up and in, Mojica with the rebound and the bucket. And now back the other way, Ruiz to the right base in the wild shot, and Brett Clay will have her 4th board of the first quarter. 20 seconds to go to Mojica. Mojica to Cunningham, coming up the middle, misses the little bunny jumper, puts up 1, gets the rebound, puts up a second, gets the rebound. No good, and they are going to call the foul. They're going to call a push foul on Hobbs, as they're going to whistle that one on Cunningham. So that'll take one of her rebounds out of the book. And with 15 seconds to go in the first, Hobbs up 17-11. As Kirker underhands it, Villarreal winds up with it in front of the Hobbs bench. 6 seconds to go. Wild pass to Kirker on the far side of the court. Bounce it to the left elbow, now around to Villarreal at the buzzer. 3 on the way, and no good. And we have played a quarter here at Mayfield. It is Hobbs 17, Mayfield 11. We're back in 1 minute. Hobbs Lady Eagle basketball continues on KEJL Humble City Hobbs, K263AZ Hobbs. Hobbs basketball as we start the second quarter, as the inbound will come to Clay. Clay to Mojica in the deep left corner. Mojica uses up the dribble, gets it to Cunningham, left corner for 3, and bang! Kendall Cunningham gets the open look and has her first bucket of the ball game. So now 22-11 and a quick whistle as the ball swatted out of bounds. We are up on the mezzanine. I'm having to stand up, so I'm having to do a lot of up and down looking, so occasionally I may miss something on the near side. Into the front court with Kirker. Hobbs up by 7, 22-11, 7.5 to go to Villarreal. She'll bounce it out to Salas. Starters on the floor for the Eagles. Starters minus Castro on the floor for Mayfield, and Salas is in her place. Salas working against Hargrove on the far sideline. Will have to hand it to Ruiz, who gets the pick, uses up the dribble in the left wing, and will come back around to Villarreal. Villarreal takes it to the right block, a little underhand scoop, no good, and the rebound by Clay. That is her 5th. Brett with a lot of traffic around her. They try and trap her up, and they'll call the travel on Clay as she took a little hop step before she threw it to Cunningham. 5th turnover for Hobbs, and it'll give it to Mayfield at center court. So Selena Castro to check back in, and a timeout going to be taken on the floor with 6:59 to go here in the first half. Hobbs leading 22-11. We'll just keep it right here and say a big thank you to our friends at Lasco, TDS, Forest Tire Company, Lee County State Bank, Hobbs Express, the First American Bank, Thriftway, Elite Home Health Care, NMR Pipeline, Ampersand Media and Design, The Model, Divine Energy, Hydrotech Services, and Coffee House for making Lady Eagle basketball possible all season long here on Eagle 100.5. I'm TJ Miracle flying solo today. Dawn Morgan still a little bit under the weather. Dawn should be back, though, on Tuesday at the APS Metro Tournament. We will have all the boys and the girls games from that tournament for you on the respective YouTube channels and stations. Cool 95.7 for the boys, Eagle 100.5, 11:10 for the girls. Do have confirmation no video will be allowed in that. We'll talk more about that at halftime. So out of the Hobbs timeout, it will be Mayfield basketball as they will work it around to Kirker. He'll pump a 17-footer, no good, and it'll be Cunningham with the rebound. Kendall's 3rd to Mojica, who brings it into the offensive zone. Over to Hargrove. Hargrove crosses over, uses up the dribble. No look pass to David, but too hot to handle for Jayla. And it'll go out of bounds. 6th turnover for Hobbs. Was a pretty pass, just a little bit too much on it, and Jayla not quite ready for it. Ruiz to inbound it from right of her own bucket, and we'll get it right back from Villarreal to Kirker, who's under pressure, almost gets her pocket picked, as Mayfield will start working it back around. Top of the arc as it'll come to Kirker to Villarreal. She'll pop a WNBA 3, and that one is good. Villarreal, her first tray of the ball game. 20-14, 2 minutes gone here in the second quarter. To Cunningham in the front court. Tossing it back to Hargrove. Hargrove takes it right side, bouncing it to the left base. Now to Mojica, deep left corner. Look at the 3, and that one is off the mark. Fight for the rebound. It is loose on the court, and it'll be a jump ball. And it'll be Mayfield basketball as Castro and Cunningham tied up, battling for the rebound. So Hobbs putting in 4 sets of fresh legs as Size, Armitage, Zapata, and Muniz check into the ball game. Jayla David stays on the floor from the starters. 5:45 to go. Kirker to the front court, working against Armitage. Picks up the dribble, has to do a sidearm pass back out near center court. They'll work it back to Kirker to Castro on the deep left base. Size picks her up, tries to go through. That one gets swatted away and stolen away, but it'll be turned right back over to the Lady Trojans as it'll wind up in the hands of Salas. Salas to Ruiz. Mayfield will reset with 5:20. Ruiz at the free throw line tries to split through 2 Lady Eagles, and they call a Lady Eagle for the foul, and they're going to get Jayla David on the hold. First personal on Jayla, first team foul on Hobbs here in this second quarter. So Mayfield basketball as Villarreal to Ruiz. Her little 5-footer no good. Ruiz will wind up with her own rebound, and her putback will work. And now 20-16, Hobbs back up by 4 to Muniz. Long cross-court pass to Size, bounce it to David in the right base, back out to Carolina. Size will back it up, come to Armitage. Armitage spin move against Salas as she goes to the left lane, and yep, they're going to call the travel as Alina kind of stumbled a little bit, couldn't get recovered in time. 8th turnover for Hobbs, and back to Mayfield. So Villarreal will take it, and pass almost stolen away on the near side, and it will be as Armitage came through and knocked it away from Villarreal and knocked it off Villarreal. So it'll be Hobbs Lady Eagle basketball. I apologize for the somewhat shoddy camera work. Kind of in an awkward position here. And Zepeda picked up the pivot foot. They'll get you for that every time. 9th turnover for Hobbs. Each team with 9 turnovers. And the starter is going to come back on the floor for Hobbs. Actually, Armitage going to stay out as David will take a rest. So Villarreal to Kirker to Ruiz under backcourt pressure. Armitage on her. Ruiz nearly loses it. Puts on the Jets, but has it knocked away by Bryn Hargrove, as Hargrove will bring it into the offensive zone. She nearly loses it, needs some help. Armitage splits through traffic to get there. Mojica, the fastball to a wide-open Clay on the left baseline and up and in for Brett. She has 10. Breaks a little scoring drought for Hobbs. They go back up by 6, 22-16, halfway through the second quarter. Ruiz to Kirker with Hargrove on her. Now back out near center court as Armitage goes for it. It'll go into the backcourt. Now they're going to call Armitage for the bump foul. Getting a little too aggressive there, but you like to see the play. First personal on Aliana. Second team foul on Hobbs. So from in front of the scorer's table, Las Cruces Mayfield basketball. They'll get it to Castro in the right baseline. Clay on her. Castro will hand it off to Villarreal. Hobbs immediately tries to trap her up. A little hook shot as they will run Bryn Hargrove into the Hobbs bench. Yeah. So call the foul on their number 12. That's Lorena Villarreal's first personal. First team foul on Mayfield, and it will be their 11th turnover. To Clay, and Clay a bad pass goes to Coach Maya. Don't think he's an eligible player, and so the teams trade turnovers. Hobbs up by 6, 22-16. 3:30 remaining here in the first half. Kirker on the inbound, works against Hargrove. Armitage will pick her up, and they'll get the ball to Ruiz. She'll take it into the Mayfield offensive zone to Villarreal on the near side, then get it to McKenna. McKines, one extra bounce, somehow gets it away from Brett Clay, and she'll go hard to the hoop. Shot up, no good, and Clay with the rebound, her 6th. Brett will just keep it herself into the offensive zone to Hargrove. Good defense as they almost got it to her. Armitage, a little slip. Now to Mojica in the right wing for 3. That one is off the mark, and Clay will have another rebound. And trying to save it is a wild pass, but it'll wind up in the hands of Mayfield, and they will call the foul on Mayfield. Going to call the charge. It'll be on Ruiz, her second personal, second team foul, 12th turnover for Mayfield. So give it right back to the Lady Eagles. So Hargrove will take it into the front court off the inbound to the free throw line with Clay. Now back to Mojica to the left base with Cunningham. They'll work it around. Hargrove to Mojica. Back to Hargrove. Hargrove from the top of the arc for 3. Not going to fall. Cunningham with the rebound. Kendall, her turnaround will roll home. 4 rebounds, 5 points now for Cunningham, and Hobbs goes up by 8. 24-16, their biggest lead of the ball game. 2:15 remaining in the first as Castro will push it into the front court and get it to Kirker. Kirker goes to the right corner, then he'll toss it out to McKines at the right elbow. Now over to Villarreal, who drives the left base. That one going to float around, no good. Villarreal with her own rebound, and will get the putback and will be fouled. So she'll head to the line for the and one. They're going to call the hack on Mojica, her first personal, second, make that third team foul on Hobbs. Villarreal 1 of 1, now 2 of 2 from the line. 24-19 as Salas will check in. As Ruiz going to head to the bench to take a breather with under 2 minutes to go here in the first half. Hobbs to the front court. It'll be Armitage to Hargrove to Mojica in front of the Mayfield bench. Back to Mojica from the left corner for 3 and bang! Kaya Mojica can be dangerous from anywhere beyond the arc, and she proves it right there, 27-19. Hobbs back up by 8. Armitage on the pressure with Kirker in the backcourt. She'll bring it from the left to the right, crosses into the offensive zone and tosses to Salas near center court. Armitage a little reach in. Nice job, not catching anything but ball. Kirker will give it to Villarreal, who gives it back to Kirker. Kirker to McKines, who will take it into the left lane. Her scoop, no good. And Mojica with the rebound, her second. Mojica to Clay from the right lane, no good. And it'll go out of bounds. Should be Hobbs' ball, last touch by Mayfield. 1 minute remaining here in the first half. Hobbs up 27-19. So now Mojica to inbound it, the high inlet to Cunningham, but she is going to get tied up. It'll stay Hobbs basketball. So we'll do the inbound again. So Mojica to inbound. Coach Carpenter telling them move through it. They'll get it into Armitage, back to Mojica, left corner, 3 ball on the way. That one is off the mark. Fight for the rebound, and Cunningham winds up with it. And now they're going to call jump ball. Cunningham got tied up, but it'll be Mayfield basketball. Cunningham 5 rebounds. So back into Mayfield's hands with 50 seconds remaining here in the first half. Come to Salas. She'll turn on the Jets up the near sideline. Gets the ball swatted away from behind by Mojica. And subs coming in for the Lady Eagles as Size, Muniz, and Zapata come in for Armitage, Hargrove, and Mojica. So the inbound almost tipped away and into the hands of Clay, who is going to be fouled. So Clay steals it away and then gets fouled for her troubles. Here they're going to put that up on. They are going to whistle that one on McKines, her first personal, 3rd team foul. So Hobbs will have it. It'll be Size into the offensive zone for the Lady Eagles. To Zapata. Sling it over to Muniz in the right wing. Reset it with Size. Carolina uses upper dribble. Tosses to Cunningham. Back to Muniz. Thinks about the 3. Villarreal was to her quickly from the deep right block. Cunningham shot up. No good. And the rebound by McKines. Her 3rd. And a walk on McKines. That'll be the 14th turnover for Mayfield. As Jayla David will check back into the ball game for Hobbs. She'll come in for Cunningham. 13.8 seconds remaining. First half. Hobbs up 27-19. And now the inbound from Zapata. Zapata asking him to move around. She'll get it in at the 4 count. And that one is tipped away by Kirker. But, they're going to say that Hobbs tipped it after Kirker did. So it'll be a turnover for the Lady Eagles. They're 13th. Very uncharacteristic. So to the front court, Hobbs trying to trap up Kirker. 7 seconds to go. Picks up the dribble, uses up the dribble. Ball winds up loose on the court. It'll wind up in the hands of Size, who puts up the half-court shot at the buzzer. No good. And we have played a half a basketball from here in Las Cruces. It is Hobbs 27, Las Cruces Mayfield 19. We'll be back in 3 minutes for your halftime report. Hobbs Lady Eagle basketball continues on Eagle 100.5, 1110 a.m., HobbsAmerica.com, and the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. Back here in Las Cruces at Mayfield High, it is halftime, and the Hobbs Lady Eagles right now in control over the Lady Trojans of Mayfield, 27-19. I'm TJ Miracle. Great to have you with us this afternoon. Alina Monroe and Tiff Stuber in studio engineering and producing. So as we take a look at the numbers in the first half, let's start with the Mayfield Lady Trojans. Their first half leading scorer is Lorena Villarreal. She had 7 points to face the Lady Trojans. 4 points in the books for Sienna McKines, 4 points for Jaslyn Ruiz, and a bucket for Selena Castro. In the first half, Mayfield went 2 of 2 from the free throw line. They had 2 and 1 opportunities, 1 in the first quarter, 1 in the second, both by Villarreal. She made them both. Their leading rebounder right now is Ruiz. She has 4 rebounds in the ball game. McKines next with 3. They have 12 rebounds collectively as a team. Mayfield turning the ball over 14 times in that first half. They got 11 points in the first, 8 in the second. That's how they get to their 19 on the board. Turning the page for your Hobbs Lady Eagles. Leading scorer in the first half, leading rebounder too, was Brett Clay with 10 points to go along with 7 rebounds. 5 points for Nakaya Mojica, 5 points for Kendall Cunningham, 4 points Bryn Hargrove, and Carolina Size with 3 points for Hobbs in the first half. Lady Eagles go 2 of 3 from the free throw line in that first half. So 66%. Even I can do the math on that one. As we mentioned, Clay leading rebounder with 7, Kendall Cunningham with 5, 14 rebounds as a team for Hobbs in that first half. Uncharacteristically, quite a few turnovers, 13 turnovers for Hobbs. A lot of times, though, they would get it right back from Mayfield, or the teams just kind of trade turnovers there. A little bit sloppy for both teams in the first half. Mayfield 17 points in the, Hobbs 17 points in the first. There we go. And 10 points in the second. That gets them to their 27 points on the board. For the Hobbs Lady Eagles, they've just got to keep doing what they do. They've got to clean some of the mistakes up. I think maybe just a matter of, the night and the air. It is a little bit higher up here, and it is very dry here in Las Cruces today. Of course, they're going to be dealing with high altitude and hopefully fairly dry in Albuquerque all next week at the Albuquerque Metro Tournament. Hobbs Lady Eagles will start that tournament on Tuesday night at West Mesa High School, taking on the West Mesa Lady Mustangs. Dawn Morgan will have that game for you here on Eagle 100.5. We will also have the audio on HobbsAmerica.com, the audio and the scorebug, HobbsAmerica.com, and on the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. But we were informed this morning by both the Albuquerque Public Schools Athletic Department and by Hobbs Athletic Department that we will not be allowed to video stream from the APS Metro Tournament, either the boys or the girls, but we will have the audio and the scorebug for you. HobbsAmerica.com, Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. Hobbs boys also going to be at the APS Metro Tournament. Their first game of that tournament, they'll take on the Highland Hornets at 5:30 Tuesday. From Volcano Vista High. Ty friend Ron Gunter will have that game on our sister station, Cool 95.7. Also, HobbsAmerica.com, Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. So looking forward to that. We will have all 4 games for both the boys and the girls from the APS Metro Tournament starting on Tuesday next week. But we are not allowed to video those games, but we'll have the audio for you, of course, on the respective radio stations, and the audio with the live scoring on HobbsAmerica.com and the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. So halftime coming to a close here at Mayfield High. Hobbs leading the Lady Trojans of Mayfield 27-19. We'll be back in 2 minutes for the second half. Hobbs Lady Eagle basketball continues in a moment on Eagle 100.5, 1110 AM, HobbsAmerica.com, and the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. Back here in Las Cruces, getting ready for the start of the second half of action. Hobbs leading 27-19. I'm TJ Miracle, sitting in for Don Morgan, a little bit under the weather this weekend. Alina and Tiff in studio, engineering and producing. So the 27-19 lead, and I do believe it will be Hobbs basketball as we flip ends of the gym and get ready for the second half. Starters on the floor for Hobbs: Cunningham, Clay, Hargrove, Mojica, and David. And it looks like it will be the starters for Mayfield too. That is Kirker, McKines, Villarreal, Ruiz, and Castro. So it'll be Cunningham to throw it in from center court, as Kendall will get it into Brett in the back court. And we are underway in the second half, and ball almost, and it will be immediately stolen away, but it'll go rolling on the floor and right back into the hands of the Hobbs Lady Eagles, but it comes right back to Mayfield. So Mayfield trying to take advantage to Villarreal for three. That one is going to be off the mark. Ball on the floor, and finally it'll be McKines who winds up with it at the free throw line. Her turnaround won't go, and Kirker comes out of it from nowhere. So Mayfield has picked up a little bit of intensity in the locker room coming out at the half. Field doesn't run a real deep bench, or didn't in the first half. Back to McKines at the free throw line, and she'll reset it out. Here's center court with Kirker. Mojica comes and picks her up. 45 seconds gone in the third. To Ruiz on the far sideline to Kirker in the right corner. Thinks about bouncing it, thinks better of it. She'll spin through. Takes about 4 steps, and they will call the foul and not the travel, and Kirker will head to the line for 2. They're going to call the foul on Cunningham, her second personal. Be the first team foul in the half. Comes just under a minute gone here in the first, or in the third. So Kirker at the line puts up the first, and that one will be off the mark. Kirker 2 rebounds, but no scores. So the score remains 27-19. Kirker shoots the second one, flat shot, but it works. And that'll give Mayfield 20 on the board, and they strike first in the second half. Hargrove with a bad pass, and Hobbs with 3 quick turnovers here at the start of the second half. Not what Coach Joey Carpenter wants, as he's going to send the reinforcements in early. He leaves Cunningham on the floor, but puts in size, Muniz, Zepeda, and Armitage. So the inbound to Kirker off of the turnover. Mayfield basketball. She'll push it across the timeline into the hands of Ruiz, who uses up the dribble. Zepeda on her. To McKines. Takes it to the free throw line. Goes tripping through the lane and somehow gets a shot to fall. She's got 6 in the ball game. Hobbs going to look to push the pace. Armitage finds a lane but loses the ball off of her foot, but then is going to get fouled as she will split 2 Lady Trojans. See who it's going to be on. And they are going to call that one on McKines, her second personal. First team foul in the half on Mayfield. It is on the floor. It's going to be Zepeda to inbound from the right of her own bucket. Needs to get it in, and it'll be the high inland. Gets it to Size. Size to Cunningham in the left corner. Thinks about the 3, thinks better of it. Goes through the lane and going to be fouled as she drives in. They're going to call the block foul on Castro, her third personal. Second team foul on Mayfield. So now Zepeda to inbound right of her own bucket again. She'll toss it in, get it into Muniz. And a bad pass tipped away, but it'll wind up with Size. They'll get it to Cunningham in the high post. Now to Zepeda in the deep right corner for 3. That one is off the mark, and McKines has her 5th rebound of the ball game. 2 minutes gone here in the third. Bad pass the other way and almost stolen away by Muniz. Can't handle it. They were trying to get Villarreal going to the left corner. Muniz knocks it away. So it'll be Villarreal to inbound from in front of her own bench. Will push it into Kirker in front of the scorer's table. Armitage on her. Now they'll cycle out. And a WNBA 3 on the way. Wide open look for Villarreal, and she has her second tray of the ball game. As Hobbs will bring it down the other way, now just up by 2, and the ball goes out of bounds, and it'll be Mayfield basketball. Hobbs now with 17 turnovers. And starters coming back onto the floor for the Lady Eagles. And Coach Joey Carpenter wants to talk about things with 5:49 to go here in the third quarter. Hobbs 27, Mayfield 25. We're back in 30 on Eagle 100.5. Back here in Mayfield as Mayfield on a 6-0 run to start the second half have chopped what was once a 9-point lead down to just a 2-point lead. So back here, did I say 6? Yeah, it's a 6-0 run. Yeah, 19-25 is 6 points. So the 6-0 run for Mayfield to start the second half. And Hobbs trying to figure out what is going on. Mayfield has come out with a whole new level of energy. Hobbs has not been able to match it yet. Hobbs has turned the ball over already 6 times in the early goings of this second half. So it'll be Mayfield basketball out of the timeout. They hand it off to Villarreal. Mojica on her, tossing it to Salas. Out of pressure, Salas uses up the dribble under pressure from Hargrove. Coming near side to Kirker. Kirker to Villarreal. Back to Salas. Salas will take it inside, give it to Ruiz in the left elbow. Turns around and finds herself all by herself. Puts up a shot, no good, and it'll be Jayla David. Jayla's first rebound of the ball game. Feed it forward to Bryn Hargrove. Her little runner from 10 will fall. So Hargrove breaks the scoring drought for the Lady Eagles, 29-25. 3 minutes gone. Full court press is on for Hobbs. They're going to have to get it across the timeline, and they do with Kirker with about 2 seconds left in the count. Kirker keeps it herself. Mojica comes out to Garter. To Villarreal, who drives in. She'll put up a little 10-foot runner, gets her own rebound. Her putback won't go. Fight for the rebound, and it'll be Brett Clay who will come away with it. And Hobbs will bring it back down as Clay goes through the right lane. Her shot up, no good. Off the tip, Hargrove with the rebound. Tries to get it underneath and losing the basketball back into the hands of Mayfield. That'll be Kirker to the left block, and he'll just cycle it around. 18 turnovers for the Lady Eagles, but then going through the lane, Kendall Cunningham will steal it away, and it'll get poked away from behind by Villarreal. Stays Hobbs basketball. Is that one going to go all the way to the parking lot? Out the door, out the parking lot, and might have gone out to the highway out there. Checking into the ball game for Mayfield, it'll be Kylie Lopez seeing her first action of the afternoon. As we continue to wait for the basketball, as Mojica was going over to check. Ref tells her where he wants her in front of the door where the ball went out. So Mojica will inbound it, gets it into Cunningham, gives it right back to Nakaya. Over to Hargrove, now to Clay, deep left corner for 3, and that one is off the mark. Kendall with the rebound, and she'll kiss it off the glass. Cunningham with 7, and Hobbs quickly now on a 4-0 run. And get it back up to a 6-point lead. Kirker to the front court. Will hand it off to Ruiz. More than halfway gone in a fast-moving third. Ruiz gets it back. Takes it to the right base, and she'll lean in against Cunningham and Clay and draw the foul. Shot won't go, and they will call the foul on Clay. Her first personal, second team foul. Ruiz set the line for 2. Her first is up, and it is good. Ruiz, the leading scorer for Mayfield, averaging just over 14 points per season, or per game, rather. Now has 5 in this one. Second shot on the way. That one is off the mark, and it'll be Cunningham with her 7th rebound of the ball game. 31-26, Hobbs in the lead, up by 5. To Mojica out of a little bit of pressure. Nakaya using up the dribble, slings it to Hargrove, now to David in the right base, and she'll put it up. Mojica with a rebound, and a putback won't go, and it'll be McKines who winds up with it. So back down comes Mayfield. And jump ball going to be called. It'll stay Trojan basketball, but good hustle by Mojica and Hargrove to get back and to tie up. Ruiz on that. 3:23 remaining in the third. Hobbs up 31-26. That'll be Lopez to inbound from in front of the Mayfield student section. We'll just hand it off to Kirker, and Mojica on her very tight. She'll spin out, try and find a little room. Now uses upper dribble, and timeout going to be taken by Coach Maya. 3:14 remaining here in the third. Hobbs 31, Mayfield 26. We are back in 30 seconds on Eagle 100.5. Out of the Mayfield timeout, it'll be Lady Trojan basketball. Welcome back. I'm TJ Miracle as the inbound will come from Villarreal to Ruiz, and we are back to it. Ruiz comes near side to Salas. Mojica giving her a little bit of room. Now out to Kirker. Kirker to Salas, working near side, and stolen away by Mojica as Mojica will take it to the rack and misses another point-blank layup, and it'll go out of bounds. That has been pretty much the story for the Hobbs Lady Eagles in this Las Cruces road trip, is missing the layups, not finishing, and the ball goes out of bounds. So Mayfield gets it back and dodges a bullet. Under 3 to go in the third. Hobbs up by 5 and stolen away again. Nice job there by Brett Clay as she'll push it into the hands of Cunningham, who gets it to David. Back over for Hobbs. Mojica to the block with Cunningham. She'll bounce it to Hargrove to Clay. The little head fake. Clay hippity hop through the post, in and out. And it'll be Ruiz with the rebound, her 5th. Right at her season average. Hobbs right now just having trouble buying a bucket. Coming near side to Villarreal as Mayfield will reset on the offense. Mojica on her nice little spin move as she goes high side and over the head of everybody and goes out. So that'll be 19 turnovers now for Mayfield, 18 for Hobbs. So timeout on the court while Bryn Hargrove fixes the laces on the Nikes. 31-26 is the score. Hobbs in the lead. 2:15 remaining in the third. So inbound to Hargrove. Gives it to Clay, who gives it right back to Hargrove. Hargrove to Cunningham. Deep left corner. Thinks about the 3. Now is going to cycle it through. Uses up the dribble to Hargrove from the left corner. And that one is going to be off the mark and off the tip. It'll wind up in the hands of Ruiz. So Ruiz will come back down the other way, give it to McKines, and gets the ball swatted from behind and off of her knee. So another turnover for Mayfield. So Hobbs gets the basketball back, even though they haven't been able to score a whole lot in this third. Neither is Mayfield. So it'll come to Hargrove, and she'll sling it to Jayla David, wide open on the right baseline, and up and in for Jayla. Her first bucket of the ball game makes it 33-26. Backcourt pressure for the Lady Eagles with 90 seconds remaining in the third. McKines bumps, goes hard through, and puts up a shot, and they will call the block foul. Are they going to count the bucket too? That's the question. They do count the bucket for McKines, and they will call the foul on Cunningham, her third personal, third team foul on Hobbs. McKines now with 8 points. And goes to the line for the and one. Her first trip to the stripe and gets it to go. She has 9, leads the way for Mayfield. 33-29, just a 4-point Hobbs lead. So Hargrove off the high inlet pass to Mojica, who has a little room. Now to Hargrove in the left wing. Hargrove throws it to Jayla David, and Jayla with the little reverse up and in. They lose Jayla at the baseline. She's going to make them pay every time. 35-29, Hobbs back up by 6. Under a minute to go in the third. Push it forward to McKines, and she'll take it hard on the left glass. And Castro playing trailer gets her third rebound. Now it'll stay in the hands of Mayfield. Fight for it. Villarreal, that's Ruiz with another rebound. The Mayfield crowd appreciative of what they see as Villarreal gets it, but gets it poked away. Back down come the Hobbs Lady Eagles to Mojica, and she'll put up a wild shot and count the bucket and the foul. I didn't know the circus was in town, but it works. And they're going to call the block foul on Kirker, her second personal, third team foul on Mayfield. Now Hobbs up 37-29, and Mojica at the line for the and one. Mojica was 7, trying to make it 8. Mojica waits, puts up the and one, and it is good. Now 38-29, Hobbs back up by 9, ties their biggest lead of the ball game. Mojica comes out, Armitage comes in. And it'll be McKines on the inbound. 30 seconds to go in the third. Kynes will push it into Ruiz, who gives it back to McKines. Not having a lot of trouble. She uses up her dribble. Kirker going to have to come try and help her, and she'll take it into the front court. Bouncing underneath to Salas, and too hot to handle. Turnover number 22 for Mayfield. Hobbs' defense has come up big and let them stretch this lead back out to Armitage in the front court. Armitage works against Kirker, throwing it back to Clay, who almost loses it. Now to Zepeda, who's back into the ballgame. Top of the arc to David, to Cunningham in the low post, and she's going to be fouled. Will be on the floor. Will it be on Villarreal or Kynes? That'll be the question. It'll be on Villarreal. That'll be her second personal. Fourth team foul. As Lopez will check in for Salas. 1 second to go in the third. I think they're going to try and get Jayla in quick as Zepeda looks to push it in, and they'll push it to Clay, who pushes it up. Shot no good, and no rebound by the buzzer. So we have played 3 from here in Las Cruces. Our score, Hobbs 38, Las Cruces Mayfield 29. We are back in 1 minute for the fourth quarter. Lady Eagle basketball continues on Eagle 100.5. Back here at Mayfield in Las Cruces, start of the fourth quarter. It'll be Hobbs Lady Eagle basketball leading 38-29. I'm TJ Miracle. Alina and Tiff in studio, engineering and producing this afternoon. Final tune-up for the Lady Eagles before the APS Metro Tournament gets underway on Tuesday. As Armitage will pull the trigger, and we are underway. Armitage suits Zepeda, getting it to Size, now underneath to Clay. They immediately put 4 girls on her, and Clay losing the basketball off of the tip. And it'll go over to Mayfield. Kirker pushes it near side to Villarreal, then a long cross-court pass to Ruiz. From the far side, now she'll come back to Kirker in front of the Mayfield bench, and Armitage trying to steal it away. It'll go out of bounds. Liana did a nice job getting a hand on it, but just knocking it away. Zepeda, Armitage, Clay, Size, and Muniz on the floor for the Lady Eagles. Kirker, Villarreal, Lopez, Ruiz, and McKines on the floor for Mayfield. To Ruiz, who goes in against Clay, turns around after she uses up the dribble, no good, and the rebound by Clay. That'll be her 9th. One away from a double-double for Brett Clay. To Zepeda. Zepeda into the right corner for Muniz, who has to cycle it out. Nope, they got her with the little slide job. 20th turnover for the Lady Eagles. Just had a little trouble holding on to the basketball today. Both teams have. 20 turnovers for Hobbs, 22 now for Mayfield. Hobbs, though, up by 9. 1 minute gone here in the fourth. 38-29. To the front court with Kirker. Winds up with Villarreal as they work it around the arc. To the free throw line with Kirker. Clay gets to her quickly, forces her to back it out. To Lopez, who slings it to Ruiz in the right corner. Now they'll work it back to Villarreal in front of her own bench. And Muniz comes through and almost takes it away from Kirker. Knocks it out of bounds. So Villarreal will inbound from in front of her own bench. Villarreal to Lopez. Tossing back out between the rings with Kirker. Kirker to Lopez. Size gives way to Armitage on her. Lopez will get the ball back out of the swat by Armitage. Now back to Kirker. Kirker bouncing it to the right base with McKines. Her shot no good, and Clay with the rebound. She has her double-double. 10 points, 10 rebounds. Clay leaving it off for Armitage in the deep left corner to Size, who takes it, trying to bounce it underneath, and goes off somebody's foot and winds up with Zepeda. Now to Muniz, top of the arc. That one is off the mark, and it'll be Villarreal with her fourth rebound of the ball game. Neither team has scored yet in the fourth quarter, and we've got 2+ minutes gone in it. Hobbs up by 9. To Villarreal. Zepeda on her very tight. Working it to Lopez as Armitage picks her up as she uses up the dribble to the free throw line with Villarreal. Now to Kirker. WNBA 3 from the right wing. That one no good, and the rebound going to be brought down by Ruiz. That's her 8th. Coming near side to Villarreal. Back to Kirker. 5.5 minutes to go in the ball game. Mayfield taking their time. Villarreal, three-pointer and nothing but net from the left wing. Villarreal's third tray of the ball game. Makes it 38-32, and a timeout sounds. It will just be a 30. Coach Joey Carpenter taking the 30-second timeout while we have a moment. Say a big thank you to our great friends at Coffee House, Hydrotech Services, Divine Energy, The Model, Ampersand Media and Design, NMR Pipeline, Elite Home Health, Thriftway, First American Bank, Hobbs Express, Lee County State Bank, Forest Tire Company, TDS, and Lasco Construction. They make it possible for us to bring you Hobbs Lady Eagle Hoops here on Eagle 100.5 and 1110 AM, HobbsAmerica.com, and the Hobbs Sports YouTube channel. Appreciate those folks. You see them all there at the bottom of your screen. If you are watching, you hear their ads. If you're listening, but support those local businesses who support our local teams. So out of the Hobbs timeout, it'll be Lady Eagle basketball. And Clay will run the trigger into the front court. So Clay backs it up. Hobbs up by 6, 38-32. Size in front of the bench. It's Kirker on her. She goes through traffic and loses the basketball. Another turnover for Hobbs. Push it forward to Kirker. Hobbs drops back quickly in defense. They'll wing it over to Villarreal, then the fastball to Ruiz at the free throw line. Gets it to Lopez as they work it back around to Kirker. Over to the left base. That is McKines, who drives in hard, puts up a shot high off the glass. And they're going to call Brett Clay for the foul. Brett's second personal, just the first team foul in the quarter on Hobbs. And it'll put McKines at the line to shoot 2. He's 1 of 1 from the stripe. And now 1 of 2. 4:40 remaining. As the starting 5 will be back on the floor for Hobbs. Cunningham, Hargrove, Mojica, and David checking back in. So McKine's missing the first, eyes the second, and that one will be off the mark. And somehow it'll be Ruiz with the rebound, her 9th, and to the floor. And timeout going to be taken as saving the possession there was Coach Maya. So 4:36 remaining in the ball game. Hobbs 38, Mayfield 32. We're back at 30 seconds on Eagle 100.5. Ruiz gets the inbound, and out of the Mayfield timeout, we are back to it. Hobbs leads by 6, 4.5 minutes remaining in the contest. Kirker uses up the dribble, needs some help. McKines will get to it and then gets her pocket pick stolen away by Kendall Cunningham. Hobbs going to try and move the trigger the other way. Wild pass. Hargrove somehow gets to it, needs some help, and she gets bumped in the back, and timeout going to be taken by Coach Joey Carpenter as he saw the trouble brewing. It is just a 30, so we will keep it right here with 4:16 remaining in the contest. Mayfield, number 6 team in the state, 9-2 on the year, has played Hobbs very tough. Hobbs has just been a little bit out of sorts for much of this game, but they are winning 38-32. Interesting note, though, Hobbs has yet to score in this fourth quarter, and, well, we've only got a little more than half of it remaining. It has not been a score fest for either team, to be sure, but Hobbs would love to capitalize on this possession. So it'll be Mojica to inbound it. Mojica, Hargrove, David, Cunningham, and Clay on the floor for the Lady Eagles. So Hargrove will come near side off the inbound, takes it to the right corner. Kirker on her, almost loses it. Bryn will get it back to David, and a bad bounce, and it winds up in the hands of Kirker, and another turnover for Hobbs, their 22nd. Mayfield has just played with a little more intensity in this second half especially. We saw this last night too against Mayfield High. McKines on the left base, and a travel called for McKines. Can get that one tossed out. 24 turnovers for Mayfield now. And under halfway to go in the fourth. Thanks for being with us here on KEJL Humble City Hobbs, K263AZ Hobbs. Eagle 100.5, your home for Hobbs Lady Eagle Hoops. I'm TJ Miracle as we click towards the top of the hour to Hargrove. Little fake pass to Mojica to David at the free throw line to Clay. Clay to the right base to David in the right block, and her shot not going to fall, and the rebound in the hands of Ruiz, her 10th. She's their leading rebounder right now, well under her scoring average for the season. Push it under to Villarreal. Villarreal with Mojica on her. Uses up the dribble, tosses to Ruiz at the free throw line. She'll throw it back out to Kirker. 3:11 remaining. To Lopez. Hargrove picks her up, is on her tight. They'll have to cycle it back out near center court with Villarreal to Lopez. Bounce it to McKines, now bouncing to Ruiz. Mayfield going to be content to just be very, very patient and wait for their shot. 2:48 remaining in the ball game. They only trail by 6. And a travel going to be called on Lopez. Good pressure on the far side from Bryn Hargrove, forcing her to travel as Salas will come in for Lopez. With 2:44 remaining here in the ball game. Hobbs up by 6. Hobbs has not trailed since early, and it was only a 2-point lead at the very start of the game, but has not been comfortable. Into Jayla David and over Jayla's head, but somehow it'll be saved out, and Cunningham with it. She'll get it back to Jayla. On the right base, shot up. It is off of the iron, but Jayla's going to be fouled. She'll head to the line for 2. And they are going to call Villarreal for her 3rd personal. Just the first team foul on Mayfield in the half, or in the quarter, I should say. And David at the line for 2. Jayla's first is up and rattles it home. And that is the first point for Hobbs here in this fourth quarter. And it comes with 2:27 remaining in the quarter. Yikes. Second on the way for Jayla, and it is good. She's got 6 points for the Lady Eagles. Now 40-32, back up to an 8-point Hobbs lead. So 3 possessions for Mayfield. They may have to start pushing the pace a little more than they want to here. Get it to Ruiz as she'll take it to the left block, and her shot up, no good. But she'll somehow wind up with her own rebound, but then falls to the floor, pushes it out. Kirker saves it to Villarreal in the right wing. That one is off the back of the iron, and it'll be Salas with the rebound. They'll reset with Kirker. Kirker to Salas. To the free throw line. Ruiz turnaround jumper from there, and that one is off the mark, and Mojica with the rebound, and they will call the foul on, no foul, but it was poked away. And it'll be actually a turnover after the rebound. So Mayfield gets another shot at it in their own end. So Villarreal to inbound it. Hobbs up by 8 with 1:54 to go. Into McKines. She runs into a wall of Lady Eagles, and she'll try and put a fall away up from about 6, and Jayla David will wind up with the rebound. As Bryn Hargrove will have it, little head fake, goes to the left block and gets it to rattle home. Hargrove now with 8 points for the Lady Eagles, and they stretch it out to a 10-point lead, their biggest of the ball game. Pressure is on. Kirker brings it into the front court. Takes it to the free throw line, bounces to McKines, and she'll get the bucket and the foul as David bumped her. Second personal on Jayla, second team foul on Hobbs. And McKines now with 11 points. 42-34. McKines 1 of 3 from the free throw line. And now 1 of 4, but the rebound right to the hands of Ruiz. So they'll reset with 1:22 to go. Hobbs still up by 8. Feed it around, work it to Kirker. Kirker holds it, now she'll sling it, and Jayla David almost knocks it away. Was trying to get Villarreal on the far side. Good heads-up hustle play for David to knock that one 3 rows into the stands. Mr. Vitamontes, the athletic director, helping send that one back in across the way. And on the inbound, Hobbs going to try and steal it away, and he'll tie it up. Good job there by Mojica to tie up Ruiz. It'll stay in the hands of Mayfield, though, with 66 seconds remaining in the ball game. Hobbs up by 8. Mayfield needs 3 possessions. Not sure Hobbs is going to let them have them. We'll push it over to Kirker. Hargrove on her very tight. Under a minute to go now. In this one, Kirker almost loses the basketball. Hargrove on her. We'll just have to kind of underhand push it out to Villarreal, who gets it to Ruiz, who takes it to the right base to Villarreal. To Kirker, 3-pointer from the left wing, and that one is off the mark, and it'll go out of bounds. Hobbs basketball. So the Lady Eagles will have the ball as Salas will come into the ball game for Mayfield. Got the starting 5 on the floor for Hobbs. It'll be Cunningham to pull the trigger on the inbound. As Castro checks out, Salas checks in for Mayfield. 41 seconds to go. Full court press will be on. They'll get it to Clay. Clay will take it off the inbound, and she'll turn on the Jets into the front court. To David for 3 from the right corner. That one is off the mark. Just kissed the iron and into the hands again of Villarreal. She's got 13 rebounds to lead all rebounders. To Kirker, to McKines in the right lane. Shot up, no good. And it'll be Cunningham with her 8th board of the ball game. Gives it to Hargrove with 20 seconds to go. Bryn to the front court. Hobbs should try to just dribble it out here to Clay, and she'll back it up near the Trojan at center court. Now to Kendall Cunningham, top of the arc with 6, with 5. Back to Clay with 4, with 3 to Hargrove, 2, 1. And that will do it as the Hobbs Lady Eagles will escape Mayfield with a 42-34 victory. We'll take a 3-minute timeout. Come back with your postgame report. Hobbs Lady Eagle basketball continues in a moment on Eagle 100.5. And welcome back to Hobbs Lady Eagle basketball here on Eagle 100.5. The Lady Eagles victorious today, 42-34 over a tough Mayfield Lady Trojans team. Joey Carpenter coming up. He'll be joining us momentarily. Leading scorer tonight for your Lady Eagles, Brett Clay, with 10 points, finishes up with 10 rebounds. So she has the double-double for the Lady Eagles. 8 points for Mojica, 8 points for Bryn Hargrove, 7 points in the book for Kendall Cunningham. Jayla David with 6. And Carolina Size finishing up with 3 points in the ball game. Hey, anytime you can get the victory, that is what you want to do. And Hobbs doing that tonight, 42-34, as Coach Joey Carpenter will join us. As there we go, Coach.
Sorry, I didn't know how to get up there last night.
I know it's a maze around these places sometimes. Well, Coach, let's start with this afternoon's ball game, and you got the victory, 42-34. Maybe not quite what you wanted to see, but you've always said, hey, as long as you get the 1 point, you've got it. And what did Mayfield do that that things maybe just didn't look like they were really in sync early?
Well, they slowed us up, and we couldn't turn them over, so we couldn't get any easy buckets. And they did a really good job of spreading the floor. You could see them. They didn't have intentions of scoring at times. They knew that they needed to keep the game in the 30s or 40s to win, and they did that. And we were still fortunate enough to pull it out.
Well, and you got a lot of timely turnovers. You forced 26 turnovers on them. Even though it looked like sometimes you weren't. You got a lot of them. Of course, sometimes you were giving them right back. You were able to capitalize on 5 or 6 of those, and really that's kind of what made the difference. So with a game like this, kind of a slow down, plodding, never really getting the Hobbs Lady Eagle flow, does that teach you something going forward, and do you think you're going to see this more?
Yeah, I mean, good teams win games like this, though. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame coach. He's got the most wins in state's history. He knew what he wanted to do when he came in here. We kind of had an idea that he was going to try to slow us up and do all those kinds of things because George Maya's a good coach. And we're day 2 of day 2, we were probably a little bit step slow or whatever, but we used all our kids. We tried to get everyone in there and keep fresh legs in, but everything we did, we just didn't get in that Hobbs Lady Eagle role, and we just didn't get it done,
Well, you got it done on the scoreboard, though. You got the victory, so that's important. So, hey, you come to Las Cruces. You played 2 tough teams. Of course, you got the win last night, 75-48. At times, that game didn't feel real comfortable either.
No, the crowd, man. I've never seen a crowd before cheering crazily to cut the lead from 28 to 25. And
that was a bit odd, yeah.
Yeah, and they were fired up to play us. I mean, and we got this big old thing on our back, a big old – X. Well, they're coming after us. I'm telling you that right now. But everyone is, and we got to get healthy. We got to get going again, and we got to get our defense going. And man, we just weren't able to turn them over.
Well, it's anytime you get the victory though, and you got 2 more of them here, but now you've got to go home. Quick turnaround time for up to Albuquerque for the Metro tournament starting Tuesday against West Mesa.
Yeah, we're gonna have our hands full. We're not rolling into this tournament like I'd like to be. So we got to clean some things up Monday, and then just put our hard hats on and go to work up there this weekend. Or this week, and we got to make the best of it. But man, I'm just frustrated a little bit. I know the kids are frustrated, but we gotta turn that switch on and get going.
Well, it'll be a good time to start Tuesday. West Mesa, I think the West Mesa Hobbs game, it's the premier game of the night up there, the 7:15 game. What do you know about those Mustangs?
Well, I know he beat us in the state championship game quite a few years ago, probably 4, 5, 6 years ago.
We were trying not to think about that.
Yeah, so he's a good coach too, and they got a good program, and so we're going to have our hands full. But everyone's good. We just got to play a little bit better than them, and I like our chances.
Well, should be good. Of course, we'll be there for the entire tournament, and looking forward to that. Anything else you want to say?
No,
Coach?
I missed you last night, and I'm sorry. I just didn't know how to get up the stairs and everything. It's a little crazy.
It's a maze since they rebuilt Las Cruces High. Used to, it was just like, you walked up a ladder or something. Now they've built hallways and everything else. I had to ask, how do I get up there now? So we appreciate you coming up today, and safe travels home, and we'll see you on Tuesday.
Hey, safe travels to you. Okay,
thank you very much. Coach Joey Carpenter joining us here on the Hobbs Lady Eagle postgame show as the Lady Eagles victorious 48-34 and going 2-0 on the Las Cruces road trip. So with that, my friends, we will put a wrap on this one as we appreciate you being with us tonight, or rather this afternoon and last night too. So Hobbs again victorious, our final 42-34. For Tiff Stuber and Alina Monroe in studio engineering and producing, for Dawn Morgan, I'm TJ Miracle saying so long from Las Cruces, Mayfield. This has been an exclusive presentation of Newalmark Digital and Eagle 100.5 Sports. Have a great weekend, everybody.